Hello and welcome to Scottish Car Enthusiasts and Trains TV, and in this episode it's a 1,000 mile review of Leslie the 75. Why Leslie, you may ask? Well, in Rover circles it's known that the facelifted Rover 75 is known as the Leslie Ash edition. So my 75 arrived in September, early September, on the back of a flatbed truck, all the way from Birmingham. Bought Mighty Car Mod style, sight unseen. One of the first jobs I had to do on the 75 was replace the scabby looking Rover badge on the front. And I was a bit shocked to find that the cost of an official Rover emblem from Rover themselves for a 3M sticker was £20. Now, if I'd investigated it a bit more, I could have found reputable people who could make Rover badges for much cheapness. I mean, there's a guy on one of the club pages that can do a Rover emblem and the 4 emblems for your alloys for £20, and it is of good quality. So it doesn't always pay to buy official. I know if you want to keep it for originality, but £20 for a sticker. It was at this point I also found an Olympic-sized swimming pool that Tom Daly would be impressed about under the carpet in the passenger footwell. So I had to buy myself a pump, and I got a lot of water out of that, and this led to me starting up a little investigation to see where the leak would have came from. Was it from the plenum? Was it from the sunroof up here? Or was it as the rear light seals? I've managed to contain the leak. What I do is I go out every couple of days. I've got a cloth under the carpet, and what I do, I've got a cloth and a bit of newspaper, and it soaks up any water that's in there. Now, I've got it under control, and I've not got the Olympic-sized swimming pool anymore. So, Tom Daly, I'm afraid you've been evicted from the pool. Next up, I got the rear discs and pads changed. I brought some Brembo disc and pads for the 75, and I got a local garage called Hermitage Garage in Edinburgh to replace these because the wear pad sensor was on and the discs and pads in the rear didn't look too hot. But it turned out to be that when the disc and pads were installed, that the wear pad sensor was on, and the garage advised that it was actually the front wear pad sensor that was causing the issue. But he said that there's plenty of life left on the front discs and pads, so it makes me believe that maybe the pads and discs have been changed on the front but have not bothered replacing the wear sensor. So that's another job to do, and that'll be done in the new year. The water leak. I was still getting the water leak. I was still puzzled where it was coming from, and we discovered it was coming from the rear light seals. Upon investigation, it was the light seals. The light seals had become the sort of gasket behind the light unit had become brittle. So I replaced these, and also put some sealant around the units, some bathroom sealant. It's not the nicest or cleanest of jobs, but it'll do just to waterproof it. And that's when I got another problem. basically then the rear brake light bulb came up saying I'd failed, so I thought, it's not a problem, I'll get a new bulb. When I came to replace the new bulb, I was still getting the same issue, which then led me to think, what is going on here? Was it a bad earth? So I spent a couple of days investigating that. I bought a bulb holder from a scrappy, plugged that in, no difference. It was still showing the same faults. I bought myself a new bulb holder from Rimmer Brothers, and still showing the same issue. And then eventually I cleaned up the connections, put a wee bit of Vaseline on the plugs, on the plug and the connectors, plugged it back in, sorted. It has flashed up a message again, but it's just, you just move the plug slightly and it's fine. It's not thrown it up in a while. So touch wood that we won't have any issues with the brake light or throwing up a message saying that the bulb's out when it's not. And then right after that, probably in the same week, the stereo decided to pack up. So the stereo, that was a bit after a week of certain electrical problems or the lights, the stereo was like, oh, you're joking me. So I had to consult the forums again. Somebody said, oh, just disconnect the battery, leave it 30 minutes, it'll be fine. Because I just couldn't simply power the unit off. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't select CD, couldn't select radio. So it was like, oh, this is a joke, man. It seems to be all in 1 week. So I used the best tool known to man, and that's not a hammer, it's a fist. And all I'd done, so at the side of the stereo, I just thumped it with my fist. And the radio came on. And I'm like, you're joking. Switched the engine on and off, ignition on and off, powered it back on. Stereo came back on, it just wouldn't play my CDs. I tried different CDs. I thought maybe it was a dirt in the CD. No, it just wouldn't play the CD. So I thought to myself, right, I'm just going to get myself a new stereo, just get myself a cheap £80 stereo from Halfords or other audio retailers are available. And I bought myself a Sony head unit. Just plug and play. I had a wee bit of adaptation on the face here. I had to make a slight cut on the face here to get it to fit. But no, got that into the car. That works a treat. So yeah, touch wood, I've not had any other problems with the car. So in the 3 months that I've had the car, how much does a 75 cost to run and own? So including my fuel, insurance and road tax, the bits I've bought, stereo, brake pads, bulb holders, it's cost me £1,190. An average fill up at the time of producing this video costs about £80. And the £80 lasts me 3 weeks. Fuel consumption is about 28 to 30 miles to the gallon. The style of driving that I do, it's just around the town. The occasional jaunt over to visit family in Fife, or out to a car meet maybe in Livingston or Falkirk. So I'm not going to complain about the fuel consumption, because I know what my style of driving is like. If you are interested, I am doing a fuel economy challenge on this car. Is it better to drive it in sport mode, or is it better to drive it in standard, automatic, or eco mode? So I'm doing a video on that as we speak, over a Corsair tank, and I'll get back to you on that. So insurance wise, for a year's cover based on a 39-year-old male, no points, living in Edinburgh, my insurance on a multi-car policy, my insurance is £169 a year, and road tax is £331 a year. This is due to the emissions, of course. So the question is, I sold my Qashqai for a Rover 75 after seeing a few Rover 75s at the Hub Nut Social. I'd been interested in a 75 for the last couple of years. Do I miss my Qashqai, and did I make the right decision with the 75? The answer is yes. I don't miss the Qashqai at all. That sounds daft. There's cars that I do miss. And I liked the Qashqai. It was a great wee car. But I prefer the 75. Couple of reasons are, it's a modern classic. You don't see too many of these cars. They are a dying breed now. Even Rover brand itself is, you rarely spot anything, and you rarely spot a Rover nowadays. I could count on one hand how many Rovers are in my area. I'm probably the one of two Rovers in my street, and probably in my area. That's how often you see a Rover. And I think we've got to preserve these cars, because these cars are classics, are going to be modern classics, and the majority of 75s just get scrapped. Something goes wrong with them, that's it, we're off to the scrapyard. So fingers crossed that this one continues to be good. I'm just going to keep and not go to the scrapyard. I like the fact that for a 17-year-old car, it still looks modern, and it keeps up with modern traffic. A lot of people think it's a Jaguar. I've had people going, "Oh, can you move your Jaguar, please, just so we can get into the back of your house to do some garden work." I've had people say it's a Volvo. Most people don't know what this is. From the back, if you didn't know, it could be a Jag with the chrome on the back. You've got closely on the chrome tail trim, it says Rover. I like the fact it's an old school diesel, none of this diesel particle filter nonsense. Or AdBlue. I like the fact that when you switch on a cold morning, you actually have got to physically wait for the glow plug to go out before you can turn over the engine. And I used to hate diesels. I used to hate the noise they made. But there's something, I don't know, there's something about the sound of an agricultural diesel, like old school diesel. I don't have to give this car a run every week just to clear a particle filter out. Yeah, it's a brilliant diesel engine. I mean, this this engine is the M47R, or if you've got a BMW, it's just known as the M47. It's a cracking engine. I think you find them in 3 Series, 5 Series. This engine. And okay, it's going to penalise me if I ever enter Edinburgh City Centre when they bring in our ULEZ zone. Because I'm guessing this won't be ULEZ compliant. But for the times I actually do enter the city centre, it's maybe a couple of times a week. I've got use of another car which is ULEZ compliant, so that doesn't bother me. And I like the fact that when you park this car up, like you park up in a car park, and you just look back, you know you've made that right decision. And I think for me, one of the reasons I bought this car was the colour. Excuse me. I bought it for the colour. I was initially looking for an earlier 75 pre-Leslie Ash facelift, one like the twin lights. I was again looking at a diesel or at a push. I was looking for a V6, and I was just scouring eBay, and this came up, and it was the colour that got me. I really liked the colour. And I thought about it, and I kept coming back to it. It was this colour. And I think British Racing Green on any Rover car excuse me. British Racing Green on any Rover Group car is one of the best colours you can get, alongside like Nightfire Red, Tahiti Blue. It's an iconic colour. So, what's next for the 75? Well, my next job is to get the alloys restored. I've got one really bad alloy at the back. It's right down to the white coat underneath. And I'm not in a rush to get I don't want to get all the alloys done at once. I'd rather just take excuse me. I'd rather get the worst alloy repaired, because it is beginning. You don't really notice it until you're close up on it. But for me, I just want to get it done because it's the worst of the lot. So that's going to get done. I want to get this serviced as well. Just for my peace of mind, get serviced, just so it's running sweet, and just get ready for its MOT in August next year. It's not the Rona. And also maybe just change like the air filter. I do this on all my cars, is that I replace the air filter on the car and just replace it with like a K&N or a Piper Cross unit. Yeah, so replace the air filters. Anything else I'd like to do to this car? Just generally keep it clean. Try and wash it every couple of weeks. Wash and wax it. That failed. I said that to my wife. I went, I'll clean this car every couple of weeks. I left this car for 2 months and then washed it, because I just don't have the time now. But if I can, try and just clean it every couple of weeks, give it a wash and a wax. So that's the alloys, wash and wax, air filter. And that's really about it. I just really want to enjoy this car. I just like the waftiness of it. Yeah, I like the waftiness. And I like just sitting back on a longer drive, just watching the miles go by. So that's just a little 1,000 mile review. What it's cost me, what I've done to improve it, any issues with it I've had, and I'll report back in 5,000 miles, which I don't know when that'll be. Yeah, I'll report back in 5,000 miles. As I said, I don't know when that'll be. It could be a few months' time, but I'm really starting to enjoy this car now, and my next adventure with this car is we're taking it away for the weekend. So we'll get a few miles on the car again, and it'll probably feature on a rovering adventure and the fuel challenge again. So thank you for watching this review, 1,000 mile review. As always, feel free to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, share this video, hit the like button, and I hope you found this video useful if you're looking to get a Rover 75. Yeah, there'll be more videos on the 75. Like, I'm hoping to do like what you should look for when buying a 75. But for now, I shall catch you in a future video. Farewell.